day is it, boys?
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Hump day. Middle of the week day. Let's go. I'm feeling good today. Feeling really good. Had the in-laws staying with me. They left this morning. I'm ready to have a good day at work and then go spend some time with my wife. But I was reading this morning, as I always do, and listening to things that I was thankful for. If you guys haven't done that today, make sure you spend some time just thinking of showing some gratitude to yourself and what's going on in your life and all of the good things that we have in it. But while I was reading what I was reading, one of the things that really stuck out to me is that the mouth can either make us or it can destroy us as well. It has the power of life and it has the power of death. It's the most wildest thing. In a way, our mouth can be our biggest blessing or our biggest curse. Y'all know those people, what I'm talking about when you say they got a cursed mouth. Like if they would just shut up, they would be a lot better off. You know what I mean? But it really got me thinking. If we were to take accountability, or let's just say we had, you know those court reporter people? They're sitting there and they're just typing the whole time. What if we had someone with us right there that literally wrote up everything that we said in a span of a day? They wrote it all up and they gave it to us at the end of the day. And at the end of that day, we got to go through and we got to categorize. Did it bring life to me, myself, those around me, or my situation? Or did it bring death? What percentage would each side be? Just boil it down to those two simple things, life and death. Life is positivity, death, negativity, could be whining, complaining, whatever it is, essentially it's wrapped up into being a victim. In my opinion, when you become a victim in life, you are dying, meaning that you aren't giving the world your best. And I think that's all of our jobs, right? So when I was reading this, I was thinking to myself, wow, like what if I took the mentality with me that wherever I went today, whatever I said, there was someone sitting in a chair that was typing up everything I said? What would the percentages be there? And what if I made it a goal to speak more on this side than on this side? And when I noticed myself speaking on this side, if I caught myself and said something to counteract that. And the reason I say it's important to know that balance, because everything that we say stimulates chemicals in our brain that are outputting to the rest of our body. So if we're speaking positive things, and we're getting in a discipline of speaking positive things, and when I'm speaking negative things, catching myself and bouncing back with something positive, what are we training ourselves to do? Training ourselves to be resilient, to bounce back. We're teaching ourselves that when someone speaks a negative, the only thing we know how to do is speak a positive back. Because when we ourselves are checking ourselves and be like, oh, I suck. Oh, I'm ugly. Oh, I need to go get in shape. Oh, I need to do this or that. When we're speaking those things, our mind is claiming that as our own. We're not those things, though. So if we got in the habit of, as soon as we said something negative, saying something positive, if someone else came to us and said some negative things, what do you think would be out of our mouth? Right? These are disciplines and habits that we don't think about. We don't think about these little things, yet it's like the rudder to the boat. It controls everything, and it's just a shift like this. That's all it is. But again, it controls the whole boat. Our mouth controls our whole life. And more than our mouth, our thoughts. But the thing about the mouth and our thoughts is that they're one and the same. They feed off of each other. A lot of times our mind feeds off of whatever we just said. And we create chemicals and our brain responds to it. So my challenge to you guys is act like there's a court reporter sitting right next to you in all your conversations today. Act like it. And that way, it's like having you think, I don't want to speak negatively because I'm getting a report at the end of the day of everything bad that I say, or everything against myself or others that I say. So that was kind of my little challenge to myself this morning, and I just wanted to relay it on to you guys. How can you speak positivity into your life today? How can you speak positivity into other people's lives? At the end of the day, training these things, it becomes second nature. Right now, I think all of our nature, because of this society, is to just be negative, right? That's our nature. So we're actually having to pull ourselves out of what's normal and comfortable into something that's not normal and not comfortable. But it's a daily thing, guys. So I challenge you. If you had a day this week, or you're like, man, it wasn't too great, or I just didn't feel that great, think about the words that you spoke that day. It's wild, but some of my best days are because I was in the best attitude. I responded the best to people. And when I had a bad day, and I look back on it, most of my time was spent in some sort of negative thinking, or negative speaking, or gossiping, or, you name it. You guys know what I'm talking about. But just hold yourself accountable to that. And that way when we go and speak to our clients, if they do say something that's out of whack or not, let's just say not nice or negative, the only thing we know how to respond is with positivity, because we're training ourselves when no one's around to only speak positive things. So that was just something I wanted to share with you guys. Take it with a grain of salt if you'd like, but we have to be on top of this because it's one of the few things that we have control of. We have control over that, guys. I want to focus on stuff we do have control over, because the majority of life we don't have control over anything. But we do have control over our mouth, the way we speak to people, and the way we speak to ourselves. So let's go ahead and get our bold laws out real quick. Excuse me. As you guys know, bold is coming up. Did everyone sign up for the first free step? Number 1, August 9th in Pismo.
Signed up.
Sweet, I am there. I'm so excited to be there with you guys. It's gonna be a really, really good time. Okay, if I can just get a couple people to give me one bold law for today.
Well, based on this conversation, logic makes you think, emotions make you act.
Logic makes you think, emotions make you act. What if you were as passionate about being positive to everyone around you as whatever else you really, really like in life, or whatever else you're passionate about? I think a lot of times in this real estate business, we get our perspectives so twisted and we wonder why we're disappointed in ourselves constantly. Or we don't feel like we're doing enough. What if we became passionate about loving ourselves and just loving people? What if we became passionate about only speaking positive things? I know you're not me 100%, but what if we tried to be an A every day? That 90% of the things out of our mouth were positive and life-giving and life-bearing. What are some ways that we could do that? What are some ways that we can be intentional about being the people that we need to for ourselves and those around us?
Well, I find that people like hearing the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you're dealing with clients, people in general, you present the truth.
Yep.
In a nice way.
Yep.
Not a judgmental way.
Yep.
Can't lose.
It's the easiest, I found, right? It's the least exhausting, actually, believe it or not. Yet, sometimes we get in people pleaser mode because we're in sales, and then we say things that aren't necessarily always the truth, just to please them, and then we're left with a bunch of stress and anxiety because we have to say something at a later time that we didn't say. I've been there, guys. I go there all the time. I understand. But I love that one. Speak the truth. And that's why, when I talk about pricing objections or seller objections to things they say, if you just think of it, I'm just telling them the truth. If they don't like it, can't beat myself up because I was doing my job and my service. It makes it easier. I think we look at these things when people have objections, oh, watch out. No, this is good. This is an opportunity for you to just simply speak the truth. Actually, it's your job to.
Yeah.
And if you just treated it like that, you wouldn't be so fearful over things or saying things because, it's the truth, and because I care about you, I have to let you know this. And then you get really good at knowing how to tell people and explain it to people. But one of the easiest things to do is just be hey, just be very transparent. I want to tell you exactly what you want to hear right now, but I have to give you the truth because I care about you. And then you say what you're going to say, Just something simple like that. It really opens them up whoa, what? This guy wants to tell us the truth? So yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm telling the truth.
Be nice, but don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let people know what's going on. We're educators, guys. We're teachers. So a lot of times the answers that we don't want to give people are simply teaching them the truth about our market, right? Or about our industry, or about how the process works. And if we think about it like that, it doesn't become so overbearing. So maybe change your mindset. Because I care about my client, I am going to tell them this. Because I do care about my client, I am going to tell them this. Just keep it like that, and it makes it a lot easier. So, Juan, do you have a bold law for today?
Okay. People will grow into the conversation you create.
People will grow into the conversations you create around them. Talked a lot about this, guys. How do you create a good conversation?
You ask folks what they do for a living. You ask folks.
You ask the right questions.
Yeah.
You ask the right questions. If you know a general area that you're trying to get to, the best way to get there is not by statements, it's by questions. So how can we be intentional when we're talking to our clients? What questions can we ask them that allow them to not only reveal themselves, but gives you an opportunity to reveal who you are as well? Like you said, what do you do for your living? Are you married? Do you have any kids? These are all questions that people are going to care about, right? People that have a family typically care about their family. If a guy is wearing some sports team's whatever, even if I'm not a fan of that team, I might talk about that sport to get them on that topic. And then guess what? I don't have to do any of the talking. I don't, because I know this guy's passionate about it. He's going to do all the talking for me. I don't need to know a ton. I just need to make a reference to it. Let them do it. Let me give them an opportunity to talk about something they're passionate about, so I have the opportunity to talk about something I'm passionate about. I got to hear them, so now they can hear me. If we don't get an opportunity to listen to them, they're not going to want to listen to us. So we have to give our clients the opportunity to share with us and to give us an opportunity to listen. And I think maybe that's even a better thing than asking questions. To boil it down a little bit more, how can I get somebody to have them listen, know that I'm listening to them, that they're being heard? A lot of it is asking questions though, right? And then you sit there and listen. But the listening is more important than the speaking. But the speaking has the ability, when we're talking to ourselves and to people around us, it feeds chemicals in our brain. And we don't talk about this enough. It really blows my mind.
Listening, and also it goes back to honesty.
Yep.
Because then that's where you can create the trust.
Yep. It's back to honesty as well.
Yep.
When you're asking questions and they're giving honest answers, and they're asking you questions and you're giving honest answers, it makes sense that when something comes along the transaction that you're just going to be honest with them, right? You've done it. Right. Makes it pretty good. Okay, so we have logic makes you think, emotions make you act. We have you grow into what was it? Can't find it.
People will grow into the conversations.
People will grow into the conversations you create around them.
You can even say people will grow into the relationships.
I love that. People will grow into the relationships you
Once
create.
they establish that trust,
Yep.
they're golden.
Establish that trust. Really like that. Your business grows to the extent that you do, is mine for today. The business grows to the extent that you do. How can you grow today? What do you have that you need to learn? What's something that's come up in the last week that you don't know the answer to and you need to go seek the answer to? These are all things where, guys, we should be excited because we're growing. And if we're growing, our business is growing. Boiled it down to the most simplest form, you are your business. So just keep feeding yourselves, guys. Keep learning, keep growing, keep understanding this market. Keep going on the MLS and looking at new listings or new pendings or new sold. Just get a good feel for what's going on, because you are your value proposition when you go out to the world. The more knowledgeable you are, the more you know about your market, the more you know about yourself. And speaking positivity, I promise, guys, that's the recipe for success. But it does take time in this industry, so be gracious to yourself. A lot of people aren't gracious enough to themselves, so they speak negative things on themselves, and they wonder why they keep bringing negative stuff on them. Well, you're speaking it out, and then you're claiming it as your own. Be gracious to yourself. Guys, we're all in this together, and we're just doing the absolute best we can. If we focus on growing ourselves and being better people, we are serving our purpose in this world, and it will benefit us in the long run. It will come around. You reap what you sow, and if all we do every single day is sow love to the people around us and to ourselves, I promise you we will reap a wonderful, wonderful reward. So anyway, Michael, could you help me shut this down? Here in the office, 10 o'clock today, Gary Keller is speaking with Inman. We're going to have that running here live at 10. At 11 o'clock, we have Scott Taylor teaching our broker class, and we're going to keep diving into that. And then at 12, we have Lunch and Learn. So lunch is being provided by Mike of Central Coast Lending, and he's going to talk about the programs that he's using to find success. I think it's he uses Buffini. So he will be talking a little bit about that. Be good for you guys to hear. But 10, 11, 12, we got a busy day. It's going to be a great day here at the office. I appreciate you. Have a happy Wednesday.